Right, this video is on our miniature train project. So to start off, let's talk about the projects. We want to do a new project. So remember, you're going to come up on your Inventor. You're going to come here to Projects. You should have a train folder in your Google Drive already. So Projects, you're going to do New, Single User, Next. So project name is going to be Train. Okay. Then we're going to come here, when it's the project workspace here, it's going directly to the computer. We want to change that to your Google Drive. So we're going to click this. You're going to go to your Google Drive. You're going to go to your folder here. Let's see. Oh, and I don't have, let's make a new folder. Train, because I didn't have one. Okay, so we're going to link it to the train. You're going to hit OK. So now it's going to my Google Drive, to my train folder, and then I'm going to finish, and then I'm going to be at done. Okay, so then we need to make sure that we're in our train project, and the first thing we're going to do is our train body. All right, so we're going to be doing the train body first. Okay, so when you look at this, there are dimensions all over the place. It looks a little bit overwhelming, but we're going to do one thing at a time. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do this front piece right here. Okay, so before we start, let's just kind of look at it. It's got a rectangle right here, and then it's got a circle. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is draw the rectangle, and the way that you read the dimensions, if you look down here where it says 2.0, see it has the line, right? These are the lines and the dimension line, so it's telling you that between this line and this line, which is the edges of the rectangle, is 2 inches. Okay, and then up here, if you go to the corners and you follow down, so that's this corner from here to this corner, so the distance between this line and this line is 0.875. So those are the dimensions we're going to use. So we're going to go here to our Inventor. We're going to do a new part, and I'm going to go ahead and start my 2D sketch, and I'm going to do it here on this plane. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with a rectangle. So I'm going to draw my rectangle. Okay, and then remember that our dimensions are 2 by 8.875. So I'm going to go back to my Inventor. We're going to dimension. So this is going to be 2. And this is going to be 0.875. All right. Now, the next thing that we're going to add is we're going to go ahead and add this circle right here. All right. So on Inventor, I'm going to go ahead and do my circle. I'm just going to put my center. You see how when I put my center there, it lines up. So when those lines show up, that's saying that it's at the midpoint here, and it's at the midpoint of the rectangle, which is where we want our circle to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and go until I get that dotted line, and then I'm going to make my circle. And if you look back at the picture, our radius is 0.75. So that means when I dimension it, it's always the diameter, so it's going to be 0.75 times 2. Okay, so there's our circle. All right, so now you come back here, and we look. So it's telling you here that this is the center of the circle. So the distance from the center of the circle, which is here, down to the bottom is 1.375. So we're going to go back here, and we're going to dimension. So the distance from the center to the bottom is, I forgot what it was, 1.375, 1.375. Okay, and it should already be lined up in the middle. Okay, but the way that we can check that out, over here we have something called a constraint. And if you look at this one, if you hover over it, it says coincident constraint. It means you're constraining a point to something. So if I click that, and I click the center, and then I come down here and I want to constrain it to the midpoint, which is right here. Now it says that it's over constrained because I already put it in the middle, but for some reason if your circle was off center, then you could constrain it and it would line up directly with the center. Okay, so now we've got our circle and our rectangle, but if you notice, right, all these pieces right here are taken off. So when you come to here, you're going to do something called trim. So you're going to go here to trim. We're going to take off what we don't need. So we don't need this line right here, and we don't need this line right here. So now we've got our shape. So we're going to finish our sketch. Okay, and now we're going to extrude it. So let's look at our drawing, and it's going to extrude, so it's going from here all the way back to here. It's going to extrude 5.5 inches. So we're going to right click, extrude, and it's going to be 5.5. Okay, so there's the basic body of our train. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to draw our holes that are on this front face. So looking at here, we have our front face, and we have to drill 3 holes. So 1, 2, 3. The way we're going to do those is we're going to put points. So when we look, we have this point here and this point here, and they're directly across from each other. It shows that this point is 0.375 from this edge, and this point right here, if you go all the way down, is 1.625 from this edge. Okay, so we're going to go here, and we're going to create a new sketch. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to do a point. So I'm going to hit a point, and just put it anywhere. Then I'm going to drag across, and you see, you might not be able to see it as well on the screen, but it's got that dotted line. It's just keeping them level. So I'm going to put my second point. Alright, so then I'm going to dimension. So remember, it said that this point to the edge was 0.375. So I'm going to do dimension. So this point to the edge is 0.375. Okay, and then my other one, this point to the edge was 1.625. So I'm going to go from this point to the edge is 1.625. Okay, now we need to make sure that they're the right distance from the bottom. So when we look here, we see that they are from here to here is 0.125. So we know that the distance from, let's do that a little bit, the distance from here to here, oops, okay, dimension, from this point to this is 0.125. Okay, so you notice how it dragged this point down and not this one. So we're going to use another one of our constraints. So we look here, we want to go, this one is a horizontal constraint, which is basically saying that I want 2 things to be constrained directly across from each other. So we're going to hit the horizontal constraint, and we're going to go click this point, and then we're going to click that point, and then it drops it down. So anytime I move this point, this one's going to come up with it horizontally. Alright, so now we need to put our point that's up here. So we're going to go ahead and do another point. Now again, we can catch it. It should, it might not. So we know it's got to be in the center. So we're going to put it about right there. Alright, let's look and see what the dimensions are. So it says that this hole is 0.625 from the bottom. So we're going to dimension. So from here to here is 0.625. Okay, and it should be in the center, but let's go ahead and constrain it just in case. So we're going to go to the coincident constraint. We're going to constrain this point to the center, and it's already there because I placed it in the center. Alright, so our holes should be correct. Now we're going to go and we're going to actually drill the holes. So let's look at what it says here. So here it's telling you this right here means diameter. So the diameter of those holes is 0.125, and this little arrow means the depth. So the depth of those holes is 0.125. And the times 3 means that you've got 1, 2, 3 holes, and they're all the same. So that stops them from having to write this 3 separate times. Alright, so we got 0.125 depth and diameter. So we're going to go to Inventor. We're going to finish our sketch. Then we're going to do our holes. Alright, and we're going to do, we're not going to do through all, we're going to go to a distance. So the distance is 0.125, and the diameter is also 0.125. Okay, and we're going to make sure that they're all done. Alright, so let's look at the front. Alright, so there are our holes right there. Okay. So now we're going to do the holes on the side. Okay, so we're going to come over here and we're going to start a new sketch. So new sketch. Okay, so let's look at our dimensions. So you have 2 holes here, and you notice that we're going to do with points. It says that this point is 4.5 from the edge over here, and this point is 1 from the edge. Alright, so we're going to come here, we're going to do our points. So point, put one here, try to line them up, put one there. Okay, so this one said that it was, let's double check, 4.5 from the edge. So we're going to do dimension. We're going to do this point to the edge is 4.5, and then this point to the edge was 1. Alright, now we need to make sure that it's the right distance from the bottom. It is 0.5 from the bottom, so we're going to dimension the distance from this point to here is 0.5. Okay, so notice how it lifted this one and not this one, so we're going to do our horizontal constraint. So we go to horizontal, it gives you your horizontal line, so we're going to click this point and then click that point. Okay, so we've got our points. Okay, so now we got to do our holes, but let's look at our holes. These are a little bit different. Okay, so these are saying that they're a 1/4 inch, 20 UNC at a depth of 0.875 times 4. And the reason that it's times 4 is there's 2 on the other side over here. Alright, so let's go back to the drawing and let's do our holes. Okay, so this is just a straight through hole. The one that they're using when they give you that 1/4, 20 UNC, you're going to click this one right here. Okay, and then right here you're going to change this. Oops, you're going to change the size over here to 1/4 is the same thing as 0.25. It'll automatically select it here. Okay, so the diameter, sorry, the depth is going to be, I can't remember what it was. The depth is going to be 0.875. Okay, so there's our depth, 0.875. Oops, and I need to edit. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Sorry, I need to edit the feature. Okay, so, and this right here is going to be 0.25, because this is telling you how long it is here as well. Okay, so if you scroll in and look, you see how it's got those ridges, it's got the threads in there. I don't know if you can see in there. Alright, so now this is the cool thing. What we're going to do is we are going to take this and we're going to project it to the other side. Okay, so if you come over here, turn it around, if it will turn around, come on. Okay, we're going to do something cool that is called projecting geometry. So you're going to come to here and we're going to draw a sketch. So you're going to hit new sketch. Oops, come on. Alright, and we're going to hit project geometry. And my computer's using really slow. So when you turn it around, we're already on that sketch. We want to project this geometry. Okay, so we started a sketch on the other side, then you hit project geometry, then you click what we want to project. We want to project this sketch. So you hit, click it. Alright, when I go to the other side, my computer's running slow. So once I can get it to go. See how it's over here now? Sorry. Let's... Okay, so it just basically copied the sketch. So now we're going to finish our sketch. And then we're going to do our holes. And it should have saved everything that we just did. So now you just have to click on each one and hit done. And that's it. So we have our whole train body. Let's put it to the home view. We have our whole train body with our holes on the side for the wheels, and then our front